Hey guys, and happy Friday. So today I am part of the Inspired Me collaboration, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later. But my first piece is going to be from DIY with Amber, and this is my inspiration here. I absolutely love it. It's so cute and just so simple, but it makes such a statement piece. So I'm going to start off with a frame that I got from the Dollar Tree. Now, it's not like a picture frame that you put your own picture in. It already had like a decorative picture in there, but I liked the frame. So I'm going to just take out that picture, take out the backing, and I'll save that for, another DIY or something like that. But I'm going to take the back out, put that aside, and I'm going to put the glass to the side as well. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to give the frame a coat of black Waverly chalk paint, just because it kind of had a weird like red, I don't know, like a red wood tone, and then it had like gold on it. Not really my style. So once the black paint was on there, I took my DIY chalk paint and I just dry brushed it along the front and the sides just to let that detail kind of pop out a little bit. So then once I was done with doing that, I went ahead, cleaned off my glass, and then I hot glued the glass onto the frame. I'd recommend using like E6000 or something, but I didn't have any, so I just used a little bit of hot glue, and I kept the little, what are those things called? The little pegs or whatever to hold them in. I left those in there just until I can get some E6000, or I could just hot glue the back of it, but either way, I left those in there for now. So then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get a mason jar, and this is one of the smaller ones. I'm just going to take some nautical rope from the Dollar Tree, wrap it around the top of it twice, and then I'm just going to hot glue it onto the lip of the mason jar. So when you glue the nautical rope on there, you want to make sure that the seams, I guess, the parts that are cut are on the back so you can't see them, when you're displaying it. And yeah, so I just glued those onto the back, and that was all I did. I didn't use anything other than hot glue for that. So once I was done gluing those on there, I just kind of made sure everything was kind of tight. And then I went ahead and I kind of placed the jar on the frame to kind of see where I wanted it. And then I'm using some super glue. This is the Gorilla Glue gel. I like it. I'm pretty much out of it. I think I have maybe one or two more uses in there. But I'm just going to put some of that on there since I don't have any E6000. And I really like this one better anyway because it dries quick and it holds really, really well. So I'm going to put some of that super glue on there. Then I'm going to take some hot glue and just kind of fill in some of the other spaces. Put some on the rope just so that it kind of connects on, more surfaces there. So just going to go ahead, sit that on there, kind of hold it in place for a minute because like I said, that super glue dries really quick. And I know Amber used some, I think she used chrysanthemums or I don't know, some white flowers. But I love purple and I love these purple flowers, and I'm sure I've used these in another project. That's why two buds are missing. So I just took the leaves off of those and I'm going to kind of attach them to a different flower there. Then I'm going to take some jute twine and just wrap it around the stems just so that they stay bunched together there. And I'm just going to hot glue on the top and keep so that the jute twine stays in place. And then I'm going to place the flowers into the mason jar, and that is it. I think Amber made 3 of them. I only wanted one. First of all, I don't have a lot of wall space, but look how pretty this is. I love it. So guys, I am part of the Inspired Me collaboration, and I was so honored when Amber asked me to join. I mean, I am joined by some amazing creators. These ladies, I follow them all, and they are so talented, so creative, and we each had to choose a piece from a DIY from one of the other ladies and show you guys. So check out the playlist. You are going to enjoy it so, so much. So the next lady that I'm going to have an inspired piece by is Jenny, and I made this little tray. Well, kind of. So I had this picture frame, or this frame from the Target dollar spot, and I chose it because I like the style of it. I like the shiplap look of it, and I liked the colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this one, and I'm going to take 8 of the tumbling tower blocks and four of these little square cubes from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to start off by painting them all black. And the reason I went with black is just because it kind of goes with my decor a little bit better. So I'm just going to take the black chalk paint and I'm just going to give them all one coat. And you can hear my little guy in the background. He's just being a brat. So my husband's got him. But like I said, giving it all one coat and giving my hands apparently one coat as well. So I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands because I don't want to get black paint all over everything. So once they're dry, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use 4 of the tumbling tower blocks. And I'm going to put one on each corner of the frame. You'll see here how I'm going to place them on there. And guys, you can use whatever you want. If you want to use just the squares, if you want to use beads, I mean, you know, you can do anything. But I really like the way that Jenny had the tumbling tower blocks as the legs. So I went ahead and did the same thing. So now I'm going to make the handles, and I made mine a little bit different just because my frame is kind of small, so I couldn't really use the tumbling tower blocks. It would have been too big, so that's why I'm using the little cube. So I put 2 tumbling tower blocks together, and then I'm going to take 1 block and put it on the bottom of each side, if that makes any sense. You can see what I'm doing here. So that's going to make one handle, and now I'm just going to do the same thing for the other side, and then I'm going to glue them down to the sides of the frame to make a little tray. And guys, I love the way that this turned out. It's so cute. I love it. So, and it works out well with kind of the other DIYs that I'm doing today. Everything kind of worked together, so I really enjoyed this. There were a few spots of the blocks that weren't painted, so I just kind of touched it up with whatever was left on the brush there. And then Jenny used a flower in hers, or not a flower, a leaf. But I'm going to use this wall, what is it, a wall sticker from the Dollar Tree that says Faith. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick that on the tray. It was giving me a hard time. It didn't want to go on there straight. So I stuck it on there, and then it didn't look right, so I just adjusted it. And that's why I like these wall stickers, because you can kind of move them around, and you know, they still stick even once you've, you know, if you pull them off, they still stick. So this is just another option. I really like the leaves, but I didn't have the glass on this frame, so I couldn't do the exact same thing, and I didn't have any more frames. So this was, you know, my option, and this is how I decided to kind of make it my own. So I just went ahead, stuck that on there, and that was it, guys. That's how simple this one was, and I love it. I love the way that it turned out. I love Jenny's version of it, and you know, it worked out so well with my decor. And like I said, it kind of went with the other DIYs that I chose for today. So this is how I styled it on my little, I guess, credenza, if that's what you want to call it. And I put my diffuser on it. So up next is Nicole from TheWeeksNest, and this is the piece that I'm going to be kind of remaking. So I have the 2 little crates from the Dollar Tree. She had a sign, I think, from like Target or something. I don't know where she said she got it from. I don't remember where she said. So these signs I got over Easter for $1 each at Dollar Tree. They were on clearance, and I took them off. There was like 11 of them, so I've just been using them. So I just took that burlap off the back of it and the label off, and I'm gonna put my hanging jute cord on there now because I always forget to do this. And so I wanted to make sure that I got it done, and I'm just going to take the jute twine, I'm going to hot glue it onto the back, and true to Nicole's fashion, I'm going to take a popsicle stick and just put it on top of the jute cord to make sure that it stays on. Now I've been doing this, but it's just funny because Nicole does it all the time as well, and I know a lot of other creators do it too. But anyway, I digress. So I'm just going to go ahead, take my hot glue, put a couple of little lines of hot glue on there, put the jute cord on there, and then put some hot glue on the popsicle stick and stick that on there. I was running out of the glue from that glue stick there, but just going to stick that on there so that I can have a way to hang this whenever I want to hang it. So then once I'm done doing that, I'm going to take a ruler and my box cutter, and I'm going to make shiplap lines on this. Nicole's picture, I think, or her, whatever she was using, already had shiplap lines on it. But this one didn't, and I do this all the time. You just take your razor or your, what's it called? Your X-Acto knife, and you just go through and kind of just cut lines on there. I always go through with my screwdriver and just make the lines a little bit deeper and a little bit thicker, just so you can see them and they're more pronounced. And then I'm going to put that aside for right now, and I am going to stain my little crates with this Craft Smart antique wax. Guys, I'm loving this antique wax. I used to use, or I still use, Waverly wax, but this one just dries faster and it's not as as waxy. So I really like this one, and you can't find Waverly, or at least we can't here in Indiana. I can't find any Waverly anything anymore. For a minute there, it was kind of scarce, but I was still able to find it. Now the shelves are all bare and I can't find it anywhere. So this is a great alternative that I actually like a little bit better. So I'm just going to go ahead and give both crates a full coat, and I'm just not going to do one side because that's the side that's going to get glued onto the sign. So Nicole's she loves these little, I don't know what they're called, drawer pulls. I didn't have any on hand, so I made some. Now, I made these in advance because I used some glue that needed some time to dry, but you can use hot glue. They just don't stick as well. Or you can use, E6000 or super glue or whatever. So the way that I made these was using these rollers that I got from the Dollar Tree. Now I've done this before, and I can link that DIY in the description box. But basically all you do is you take two rollers, take these pieces and just connect, take them apart. And then you just glue the two pieces together with the little notch sticking out, if that makes sense. You can see what I'm doing. So the little tab there on the side, make sure there's a tab on each side, and then you're just going to glue those together. Now if you wanted to, you could glue a piece of paper on the inside of it, but I didn't do that. So then if you wanted to make a little handle on it, this is what I use all the time. I know it's kind of weird, but it's just the little cash register from the Dollar Tree, and you just cut the little tab off of it, and then you have the little drawer pull, and you just glue that onto the back of the little label thingy. I don't know what you want to call it. You just glue that onto the back, and again, I would recommend using super glue or E6000 or something like that, but just to show you how I made them, I'm just using hot glue. So then once you finish doing that, you just get a piece of cardboard or a piece of paper or anything like that. I'm just using some cardboard that I had on hand, and you're just going to fit it to size and kind of stick it in there, and that's it. And then you spray paint it first, or paint it whatever color you want first, and then you put the cardboard in there. So yeah, that's all I did for that. And this is what it looks like once you paint it and you have little cardboard in there. And I think for, a simple, cheap way to get those little tabs, that works out fine. So then once you finish making those and you paint them whatever color you want, you're just going to glue these onto the front of the box, or it's in front of the crate. And like I said, again, you can use E6000 if you want to, but this hot glue works perfectly in my opinion. And, I've never had any problems with anything kind of falling apart unless it literally falls and breaks. So that's just me, but this is, this works out. So I'm going to put them on the front of both of those. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to glue. What am I talking about? I'm going to paint. I'm going to paint the sign. Now, I got this from Home Depot. It's an oops paint, but the color is so nice. It's like a lavender, but it kind of has like a little grayish tone to it. You can't really tell on camera, but this is actually going to go in my room, and my walls in my room are purple, so it's going to go perfectly with that. So then once I'm done giving it, it was just one coat, that's all it needed. I'm going to take this little tool that I got from the Dollar Tree and just kind of take the paint out from the shiplap lines there. Now, this is the first time I'm using this super glue mounting tape. I got this from Dollar Tree, but I've heard good things about it. So I just went ahead and I put a strip on the back of both of the little crates, and I wasn't convinced that it was going to work. So I went ahead and took some hot glue and just kind of gave them each a couple of strips of hot glue just for good measure. I don't know. I just wasn't convinced that it was going to hold up. So I just added a little security there. And then with my Cricut, I printed this little label. It is from the design space. I didn't, make it myself. I just went to the design space, put essential oils, and there's quite a few of them that you can choose from. Then I just put it on the top there, and this is different from the one that Nicole made as far as like the sign, but I like this one, so that's the one that I picked. And here I have all my Simply Earth, tools in there. Now this is just a little bonus, just kind of a little extra something. Nicole had, she bought this display case from, I guess, a thrift store, and I had found one a while back that I had painted white, and I just didn't know what to do with it. And I remembered that she had made, she had redone one, and I was like, you know what, this would be a perfect time because it kind of goes with the other piece that I made. So I am turning this into an essential oils cabinet, and it's going to fit all of my Simply Earth essential oil. Well, not all of them, some of them. I have a ton of them because I have a subscription. So if you want to learn more about that, you can check out the link in my description box. But they send you recipe cards, and that's what I'm putting into the other tool, into the other little DIY that I made. But I'm just going to add this doorknob. I could not find any screws to fit in there. So right now I'm just putting the hot glue on there. Once I find some screws that'll fit in there, then I'll switch it out. But I just put the little handle on there. And then just to cover up those holes, I had these little like brad tab thingies that I got from a thrift store. And I just picked two of them. I cut the little backings off of them, and I hot glued them into the little hole. And this is just temporary. Like I said, I couldn't find any screws that could fit in there. Sorry for my headshot there. I couldn't find any screws to fit in there, so I just put that in there to kind of fill up that spot until I find some screws. And this is what it looks like, and I think it's adorable and it's perfect. So last but definitely not least, it is Julia from TheMugLifeDIY. And I love this little crate that she made, or this little like hanging wall crate thingy that she made. I thought it was adorable, and I thought I could definitely make one that would go with my decor. So I had two of the palettes that she used, and I only had one crate, and it's not even from Dollar Tree, it's from Michael's, so it's just a little bit smaller than the ones from Dollar Tree, but it worked out just fine. So I know she kept hers like the natural wood. I'm gonna go ahead and stain the palettes in the same antique wax that I use. It's a Craft Smart. I'm just going to go ahead and give it one quick coat, make sure I get all the little spaces and everything, and the sides. I didn't do the back, but whatever, it's going to be hanging up, so you're not going to see it anyway. And I'm just going to lay them down the way that I want them. She left a little space in the middle, and so did I. And I'm just using my Gorilla Glue, hot glue, and I'm just going to use that. And just like she used, I'm going to use some little dowel rods for reinforcement, but I don't really think it was necessary, but it was cute, so I did add them on there too. I did take a dowel rod and I cut it in advance because, yeah, sometimes when I cut things, they don't turn out right, so I did it in advance. But I cut 2 dowel rods, and then I'm gonna use this marker. It's a black, like, correcting marker from Dollar Tree, and it comes in a pack of 3. Then I'm just going to hot glue these onto the bottom, and you'll see what I mean here. Like I said, I cut the dowel rods at an angle so that they can fit under there and they weren't like sticking out all funky. And I just put 2 of them under there. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is add some embellishments. So I'm using the same black, or the same faux leather ribbon that she used. I think she used black and like the brown one. I'm just using the black because the brown just didn't look right to me on this one. But I'm going to use the black. I'm just going to put 1 strip on the middle, in the middle there, and then just hot glue it down. I don't know why I did all that squiggling. I thought maybe it would help it lay flatter. I don't know. But you can use glue, or you can use double-sided tape. That would probably work a little bit better, and that way you don't see all like the lumpies. I'm so technical. All the little lumpies from the hot glue. But you know how it's lumpy because the hot glue gets hard, and you know. So you can use tacky glue or double-sided tape. Like I said, the double-sided tape would probably work best in my opinion, but I didn't think about it until afterwards. So here you go. So once I was done doing that, like Julia, it looked unfinished. So I have these little stickers that I had used in some previous projects, and they were painted in like the galvanized metal look. So I just took a few of those, put them along the front and along the sides just to give it some detail. And I was looking at it and it still looked like it needed something else. So I just took another strip of that ribbon and I put it along the top, or along one of the top beams there. And I added a couple more of the little stickers. I was going to go all the way across, and I decided just to put 2 on there so that it looked like there was 2 screws, or, you know, something like that on the end of it. And then I added my little jute cord on the back, or jute twine on the back. And that was all I did for this one. I used just some hot glue, and I was going to put some popsicle sticks on the back, but it didn't really work because the piece was too thin. But the hot glue held it on there perfectly. So I just went ahead, put 2 strips of hot glue on the back there, put the jute twine in there, and called it a day. And guys, this was so much fun. I was so happy to join, and be sure to check out the playlist. Thank you so much, and be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let me know that you came over from the playlist. And until next time, be blessed and be the reason someone smiles. Bye, guys.